Hello, hello, good afternoon, and welcome. Yay, we are finally here, myViewBoard 3.0, and we are kicking it off. Some of you might have joined us back in June for the preview. Now, what we've done is we've carefully curated this refresh into a series that will give you small bites to get you started with ease with this refresh. So we are so excited to launch this series today. You might have seen when you saw the promo for this that we are also doing an incentive. We want to have a little bit of competitive fun with this, and we're going to do that utilizing our Class Swift software. And so that's going to serve as our check for understanding at the end of the session. In order to participate, we would love for you to scan this QR code with your phone. So if you have your phone with you, you can scan the QR code that will come up, that is coming up very soon, and that will enter you into the class. And if you might have read also that just by entering the class, you will earn 1 point. So the goal is to get to 5 points, and just entering the class gets you 1 point. There'll be some questions at the end of our session. Again, just simple checks for understanding. It'll also give you an idea of how easy it is to utilize this software. So welcome. Get ready for a very informative session. I'm getting ready to bring Ms. Haley back. If you've done any community webinars with us in the past, you know Haley well. And so I'm excited to have her back. And she's going to kick off this session, informing you on how to personalize and customize this refresh to work best for you in your classroom this coming school year. So welcome, Haley.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all again. I'm so excited that you were able to join us for this summer session. I know that you're all very busy. Hopefully you've been able to take some break, but it means a lot to us that you were able to take some time out of your day to be with us and learn a little bit more on your free time. So as Tara mentioned, I have my screen here. We're going to use this QR code later on in this session. But if you want to get started, go ahead and scan it. I'll give you just a couple of minutes. Don't worry if you don't get it this time. We will bring it back up later when it's time to actually go through a check for understanding quiz. So this is all powered by Class Swift. This is a really fun tool. It's going to be interactive for us. So go ahead, scan it right now if you have your phone available. If not, we also have an ID session here and a link. Go ahead and just choose the quick join. And please put your first and last name. That will be able to help us track everything. Awesome. So just give another minute or two just for you to scan this, and then we're going to dive right into our webinar. All right. Tara, I think we're ready. Do you mind if we get started, or if there are any last minute recommendations or suggestions to our people in the audience?
Thank you, Haley. And I appreciate that reminder. Just if you are joining the class, to add your first and last name. That way, if you are a winner at the end of the session, earning 3 to 5 points, I want to make sure I can get the giftogram to you. Okay, so including your first and last name will help with that. Take it away, Haley. That's all I wanted to say.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. So let's get into our session today. So this one is all about myViewBoard, and we're specifically going to talk about all the fantastic ways that you can personalize your myViewBoard experience. But before we get there, one of the things that we do want to focus on is just a quick summary of what to expect with this refresh. So if you've been with us back the last couple months, we've been talking about this really exciting upgrade to myViewBoard, and that is myViewBoard 3.0. This is what I'm sharing on my screen right here. As you can see, it's very similar to what you've been using on the current version of myViewBoard, but it's been refreshed with a new user interface and overall better experience for you as you're going through your lessons, whether you are going through your own slide deck or if you're also going to be creating your lessons on the spot. So if you need to do some math equations, you need to bring up some math and science tools, all of those are available to you just like you would use on the past version. But we have some really exciting new features. A lot of them have come from individuals like yourself who have talked to us either through the educator community or directly in person at some trade shows, or even just throwing us a message. So these are very exciting tools. I'm so excited that you're here. As Tara mentioned back in June, we did have Dan, one of our professional development trainers, who went in and gave a whole overview of everything new to expect in this new version. The other thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that you are fully aware of everything that's offered to you. So I just wanted to put this as a reminder. From ViewSonic, we have a lot of different offerings. So in your schools, you may have ViewSonic monitors, or you might have some of our displays. In some cases, and if you're in this webinar, you most likely have our interactive display as well. And because of all of this hardware, we've been creating a new software ecosystem that better fits your hardware needs so that you're able to have all these tools at your fingertips every day when you're giving a lesson, if you are collaborating with students, or if you just want to keep them involved and interested. The other thing that I will mention is that with everything that you're going to see here today, and I'm going to remind you throughout this, please note that you are supported by a full ViewSonic team. So we have this educator community that all of you are part of. That is a really big initiative that we want to make sure that you're able to talk to your peers about these new updates as they come along. And we would love to see some information shared between you to make everyone feel comfortable. And also, it's a really great way to show some of your tips and tricks on how you're using the new myViewBoard 3.0. And of course, we do have our professional development teams that are there to answer questions along with our support teams. But if we're looking at what to expect with this new myViewBoard, one of the things that we want to talk about is that it was really designed with the educators in mind, and there is a tool for every educator. So we wanted to provide a versatile tool set to be able to accommodate any of your teaching styles, or also making sure that your student learning needs are met. So like the previous version of myViewBoard, you're still able to import and edit existing lessons. But one of the really cool features that I'm very, very excited about, because I know that several people had asked for it, is that you're going to see at the very top, there are new tab features. So what this means is that you can import several PowerPoint files or Google Slides. And from there, you're going to be able to switch back and forth between the tabs so you can have all of your lessons up and ready. And really the main thing with this is that you're able to focus on the teaching. So you can set up at the beginning of your day on your terms and save the time for those precious moments with your students and not having to fiddle with the technology or feel like you're having to wait for those files to load. Another thing is that we do, again, this is a great reminder, we have the educational YouTube videos. So this is just one example of how we tried to create the lessons to be interactive and keep everyone entertained. And the important part about this too is exporting a PDF to continue learning outside of school. So whether you have students who maybe were absent and not able to see the lessons that you were providing, that's no problem. You're always able to go back here and take that exported PDF, either upload it to your LMS or send it directly to a student. So all of this probably sounds very familiar if you've used myViewBoard in the past. But again, we want to talk about some of the new tools as well. And there is a huge focus on inclusive learning with this new version. So for example, we've had Immersive Reader in the past, but this new version is really exciting because it's going to more easily integrate with your lessons that you're doing now. So if you have an EDLA panel, for instance, that's the Android certified Google teaching device, you'd be able to have a split screen where you have a browser on one side where you're inputting text into the Immersive Reader with your myViewBoard screen on the other side. Immersive Reader just is there to help elevate the overall reading experience for your learners, and really great if you're teaching grammar or parts of speech. And there also is a translating feature as well, especially for those students who are learning a new language or maybe just getting used to English for the first time. And then this is also a brand new one. We have new filters that you're able to add to your screen to enhance visual accessibility. So one of these is the Spotlight tool. This has been new, reimagined for the classroom so that you can have your students' attention focused specifically on the part of the lesson that you want them to look at. So there can be a lot of distractions in the classroom. We understand that. And so one of the things that we focus on is try to have the Spotlight tool so that you can easily navigate students' thoughts as you're going through your lesson. We also have special filters called Ilrin filters that are really great for students who need additional visual tools to be able to focus on the content. It helps make the text more clear, easier to read, and make sure that no one is left out in the classroom. This is another really exciting upgrade in the new myViewBoard 3.0, and this is the participation mode or participate mode, as you might know it from the previous version. So as you know, this tool allows you to have multiple screens up so that students can interact on the board at the same time. But as you see from this video, one of the really new and exciting features is that there is a teacher feedback overlay. So now you're able to provide feedback directly and help aid the students as they're learning and doing these activities in the front of the classroom. The other thing is that you can add a background just as you see from this video. So I'll go ahead and play that again so you can see it. This video is going to allow you to see, once you start the participate mode, you're actually starting with a background. So before it was just a blank screen, but now this background allows you to do easier math lessons. You can do worksheets specifically for each of your students to learn. And then, of course, after you do the feedback, you can save the session and keep it in your LMS for any additional needs in the future. So really cool tool. Definitely a lot of feedback on this one. And so we're really excited for you to try this out. And of course, all of this is going to be available for you to see more on our knowledge base. So go to myviewboard.com if you really need to have a specific amount of information about each one of the tools and also how you're going to do a quick start guide. So we do have printed worksheets that you can put next to your panel. So if you need a quick cheat sheet to be able to know where these tools are, as we have shown you right now, it looks very similar, but there are a few changes to this version. So we want to make sure that you are up to speed on everything and feel comfortable. So I'm going to pause here for a second. I'm going to go ahead and check our chat before we get into the meat of our webinar today. Awesome. So I am being told that we might have a mix of participants that might have just joined us. So if that's the case, I'm just going to quickly go back and introduce. Yeah, sorry, Tara, go ahead.
No, that's fine. I'm glad you were able to see that. Welcome to those who are just able to join us. What Haley was doing beautifully was really kind of providing an overview of the refresh. She didn't yet get into this specific topic for today, which is personalizing the refresh for you, but really giving us a broad stroke of what to expect. So she's going to real quick go over that, give you a modified version, and then we're going to go ahead and move forward. So again, welcome to those who just jumped on. Happy to have you.
Yeah, hi everyone. So apologies for the people who have already heard this. I'm not going to go into everything I just said. We have a lot of resources. We did have a webinar back in June with Dan Sharp, one of our professional development trainers, who went through all of the details and the specifics about what to expect in this new version. My quick summary of what I just talked about in the 15 minutes was just basically that this new version was really built for our educators in mind, with a lot of feedback directly from people like you. And so the features that you're going to see that have been updated in this new version are directly requests. So a couple that I'll point out would be the tabs up here at the top. That way you're able to open up multiple files at once. So whether it's Google Slides or PowerPoint files, this is going to allow you to save time instead of having to wait for the file to load. You can do it at the beginning of the school day on your own time and your own terms so that you can quickly navigate from lesson to lesson. The other thing I wanted to mention is that as you'll see, there's a lot of familiar tools and they're all located in very similar places to what you would have been using on the previous version of myViewBoard. However, there are a few updates. There's some new organization. One thing that I will mention that I didn't get to with the previous group that was in here at the beginning was that we have a new organized magic box. So this is a great tool that's going to allow you to explain and see what each of the tools does, especially if this is your first time using it, or maybe you've never played around with it in the past. This is a great opportunity for you to try new things. So Magic Box is going to guide you through each one of these individual tools. We highly recommend going through it and seeing what works for you. So you can add a YouTube video, add your images, or even your math and science tools directly in here. So as we go through, I also will just quickly touch upon some of the newer features. And this is a strong focus on inclusivity tools. So we still have the immersive reader that you can continue to use for grammar lessons, parts of speech, and also translating for students learning new languages. And then we also have visual accessibility through special filters that helps students see the content more clearly. And then also a really fun spotlight tool that's going to allow you to move the attention through the screen to keep everyone on the same page. And then the last one, before you joined, there was the participation mode as well, which is going to focus on allowing students to fill out an all new system. So you have a background that you can upload. So in this case, it is a graph, but you can just as easily add any of your customized work pages and have students work on it at the same time. And what is also new is that a teacher would be able to give instant feedback through this overlay and then save it for later and add it to the LMS and then keep it for your learning records. Awesome. So I think I did a very quick run through of anything that our second group of people that just joined us might have missed. And so there are important things too that we want to make sure that you know. We are here fully to support you. There is a knowledge base article for each one of these tools. And we have YouTube videos as well on our ViewSonic Education North America page that is going to walk through each one of these and also talk about some best practices. So with that said, why don't we go ahead and dive into the meat of our presentation today that is all focused on myViewBoard. So I'm going to pose this question. You don't need to answer by any means, just think about it. But what do all of these words here have in common? So we have theme, toolbar apps, the auto sign out, background, pen color, sorry, toolbar, layout, bookmarks, and text. So all of these, yes, are tools within myViewBoard, but did you know that you can personalize each one of these? So that's what I'm going to be spending the webinar going through, how you can personalize your entire myViewBoard experience to really make it your own. And you can bring your lessons to life by creating something that is unique to your teaching style. So as we look at this, you can customize your settings in as easy as 3 clicks. So the first one, we're going to follow this first arrow on the right-hand side of my screen. That is pointing to your account and settings. Once that pops up, you can see you're going to have access to your name, you have your notifications, and then you're going to notice there are a settings and theme and layout options. So again, if you missed that, let me just do it real quick and I'll highlight it again. So we're going to go down here to the little circle icon. Mine is blank. Yours might have your own picture, another way you can personalize your experience. But by clicking on it, you're going to have this menu. Now, previously in the past version, if you wanted to update any of your unique settings, you would go to myviewboard.com. Now, there still are some things that we're going to customize on the web page, but what I want to do for this is I want us to specifically focus on the tools within myViewBoard. So let's go ahead and take a look at the settings. So as you see from the settings, as it pops up, there are several different things that you can look at. So you have preferences, the system configuration, and then also, this is not about the personalization, but also this is a very helpful tool that you may want to remember, is that you're going to have all of the information about the device, including which version you're using and how your information is going to appear. So I have my email and instance ID. Really important if you're working with your IT teams to figure out if there's something that needs to be updated on your application. So from here, the other thing we want to do is look at all of the different options to us. So of course, you can change the language. If you're joining this, you are most likely going to be using English. However, if you're working in other states, or even if you are in Canada, sometimes you may need to switch to French. So that is available directly in here, and it will change all of the language throughout the entire application. You also have default text available to you. So once you create a text box, it's going to create a default text style. So for me, this is the font that I prefer and the size. The other thing that we are going to look at is a handwriting recognizer. So there are some new additional tools that are really fun where you are able to handwrite and have that handwriting turn into digital text. But in order to do that, make sure you have this package downloaded and installed. So let's do a quick recap again. When you want to create these settings to your custom ability to be able to manage myViewBoard, you go into account settings. You're going to click on the settings, so the gear icon here, and it's going to take you to the setting preferences. One thing that is also something that was highly suggested to us by teachers like yourselves is the ability to customize a toolbar. So make it a lot easier for you so that you're not having to go through too many pieces at once. So if I don't want to use the embedded browser because I would rather use the browser on my system, I can go ahead and do the toggle if I wanted to, and it would remove it from the toolbar down at the bottom. So this is going to allow you to have a better experience directly for how you would want. The other thing I'll show you is if you go back to theme and layout, you can also change your theme. So right now I have it in light mode, but if you want, you can easily change it to dark mode. And when you change it to dark mode, you'll see that all of the text is still readable. It just has a different background color. So this is a major upgrade from the past version where if you did go into dark mode, sometimes it made the icons more difficult to read. So this was definitely worked on with our UI team and our researchers to make sure that everyone would be able to see all of the icons no matter which theme or layout that you choose. The other thing, if you're working on Windows, is you're going to notice that you can also choose your toolbar position directly from here. If you're working on your IFP or your view board, you would be able to still change the toolbar position by clicking an arrow in any of the 4 positions. But if you're working in Windows, one way to make it super easy on yourself is by changing the toolbar position from this screen. I prefer to have it on the bottom, but if you're working directly on the screen, you might want it in some other place. So that's where you would go to find it. So again, just 3 clicks and then you're there. So let's move on to the next portion. This is also a brand new feature that is very exciting, and that is the long press menu. So this is really great if you're using the interactive board or your view board in your school at the front of the class. So if you're using it on your board, what you would do is you would just take your finger and hold it in place on the panel. And what will happen is you will get this really cool pop-up menu. Now, if you're using it on your computer, like I am right now, I'm using a Microsoft Surface Pro that's running Windows. I have a keyboard and mouse in front of me, I can still have access to this long press menu by right-clicking on the board. Now, as you can see, this is a quick summary of what each of these tools does. So you have a pen tool, a highlighter, a stopwatch, and also Class Swift that we'll be using later in this session. But you also have your select and your infinite canvas tool and the ability to undo directly in here. But as you see, there's an edit button, and this is really cool. If I hit edit, it's going to bring up this entire menu of all of the tools that I may want to use in one of my lessons. So if I'm a math and science teacher, maybe it's more important for me to have the X and Y graph and maybe a calculator or a compass rather than having a YouTube shortcut or sticky notes. So you can really customize it to how you want to teach. So for me, let's do, I want to have the import button directly. I want to have quick, easy access to participate mode. And I want clock, and I love the dice. But I still have 4 additional tool spaces. I'll just leave it like this for now. But it's really fun because you're able to make it more personalized to how you would want to use your class. So now when I right-click on the screen again, it's going to have that button come up. And now I can switch between any of these modes. So if I want, I can go ahead and add the dice tool, and that's going to pop up on my screen. And now I have my dice available to fully customize and roll. So keeping everyone involved in the class can be very quick, right at the top of a finger on the board, and you're able to easily get people involved. I will also show you that you can edit the dice tool. So from here, you can also add custom images or text, and you can change the color and amount of dice as well. So just a fun way to keep everyone involved. This is something I usually like to do in a game at the end, but always a good reminder, especially if this is your first time looking at the additional tools in myViewBoard. Awesome. So as promised, I did want to take a moment to go ahead and show you some of the options that you have in myViewBoard. So as we're looking at this, I'm going to go to our myviewboard.com page. This is going to allow us to look at some additional updates that we're going to have coming very soon. So we are going to have a brand new experience very soon, but let me show you how we are doing it now. I'm at myviewboard.com, and if you're not familiar with this, this is a great resource page for you to be able to access all of the software and also the educator community and our knowledge base all in one space. So as I mentioned, we are going to have a new account experience. Don't worry, it's not going to be a change to the way that you do things on your end as a teacher or as an IT admin. You're going to be able to still access the same things. It might just look a little bit different, but it's all the same and you would follow the same protocol. So if I click on my face here, you're going to see that this is all tied to my individual myViewBoard name and account. So I see my ViewBoard name, the sign-in email, and this is all tied to the same myViewBoard experience that I'm currently hosting during this webinar. If I want to customize more settings, I will go to the gear icon here and click on settings. But let me quickly show you how I did that again. I'm going to use the Windows toggle tool. And from here, we're going to be able to go to this icon up here, this image, and I am going to be able to, go to this page, the account settings. So as you're going to see, you can customize your myViewBoard name, but probably something that is what you're here to learn is down here, the myViewBoard section. This is going to be how you're going to customize your own experience. So let's take a look at that further. When I click on preferences, I am able to choose the themes directly from this page. So if you're not going to have access to the board and you want to make sure that it carries over everywhere, no problem. You can still do the same theme selection directly here. So I have it on default, which is also the same as the light mode, but you can definitely change that if you want. You can also include a session password, which this might be new to some of you, but you can add a session password for students who are going to participate with your myViewBoard. We can talk about that more in future webinars, but just know that's available to you. A couple of my selections that I like to have is an auto sign out time. You can select when your device will automatically sign you out of your account. I prefer an hour. The reason for this is because I have my cloud storage bound to my account. What does that mean? That means that when I am using my software, I am able to access my Google Drive and my OneDrive from no matter whatever device that I'm using. So from that device, I can still access the same lesson that I worked on, the presentation, whatever it may be, directly from my computer at work, my personal computer as well. And if I want to log into one of our IFPs in a conference room, I would be able to access the same files because I'm using cloud storage. But because I'm using my own cloud storage, I don't always want to have that available for people to access. So the auto sign out time can be adjusted depending on your own use case. So if I am not using the board for an hour, it will log me out. But you can make this 5 minutes or you can do it for never. Totally up to you. If you're sharing a classroom with other teachers and you are sharing the same ViewBoard, you may want to include this auto sign out time just as peace of mind so that you don't have to run back to the classroom and log out in case you forgot. Cool. So we do have pen settings. So for my ViewBoard, you may also know that there are styluses that come with the ViewBoards, and there are 2 tips on them. There is a thin tip and there is a thick tip. So when you are drawing on the board, you can change the customization. So right now, if you're writing with the thick tip, for me on my board, it will be black. But if I want to change that color, maybe I prefer a custom purple, which is my favorite, I will change it to that. Same thing for the thin tip. I actually want it a little bit thicker, and I want to change this to a more happier green color. I can then go in and change font settings. So this is the same thing that we showed in the text box that was directly in your myViewBoard settings, but now on your screen. So I'm going to save my changes. Always make sure you save your changes when you're editing from myViewBoard. This is a very important step or it won't carry over. So now the next time that I log into my ViewBoard and I go to use the stylus, I'll have those 2 color options appear. You can also change your bookmarks that appear in your embedded browser. So we do have a list of recommended websites that other teachers have asked for. So like Class Dojo, ABC Mouse, and we also have Khan Academy and Google Classroom. But you can edit this, or your advisor or your entity admin can also add custom apps. So for us, we have a YouTube bookmark included. Beyond that, I'm just going to show you more of the things you customize. Don't worry, I know that this is a lot of options. You can always keep it the same way that you're using it right now. But if you do want to have a little bit more freedom or creativity, or even just make it easier on yourself, you can always change your default background or any of these other tools. I personally like to have a blue background. I think that is just an easy way to show that I have officially been signed into my account, and then I would be able to access things. But I could also go to ViewSonic Originals, and I could add worksheets as my custom background. So every time I log in and I create a new lesson, it would be one of these backgrounds. So again, if you're doing worksheets, if you need a grid, this is a great way to keep it so that you don't have to constantly re-add every session. Some other things that I won't be going into, but can be a lot of fun, is you can create a custom magic line pen shape with a custom image, and you can also do the same thing for a shape pen. So I have this finch bird that I've uploaded, but you can upload your own image. So I've seen some really great creativity with this. I've seen one teacher actually do a cutout of their face, and they use it as a teacher approved stamp on the view board. So lots of fun things. You can definitely check this out, but let's get back to my view board now. And if you're curious on how I quickly did that, I was using the Windows toggle tool down here. Just to note that this tool is exclusive to those using Windows. But again, if you're using it on ViewBoard, even though you don't have that tool, you can easily use the embedded browser to navigate, or you can even go back to other locations as well, such as using split screen and having a web screen right next to it. So lots of different options here. One of the other things that I want to show off is the pen tool. So Dan definitely did a really great job showing how the features on the toolbar have been updated. So one thing that you're going to notice as I click through the toolbars here is that each one, so the pen and the shape line and text, all have these additional items here. So I want to go to the pen tool since this is probably the most important tool in order to use whiteboarding. You're going to notice you have all of the pen options here. So you have marker, paintbrush, highlighter, shape pen, magic line pen, laser pen, and an AI pen. So these are here, and you're probably wondering, how do we change the color? As you can see, there are 3 default colors. It might be really small on your screen, but there is black, red, and blue. These are the default colors for my view board, but this is also a great way to edit and change the colors back to however you would want. So I'm going to choose this teal color, and I'm going to go here and let's do pink. I'm going to change the thickness, and I will change this to, let's do green, and I'll just do a medium thickness. So now when I switch back and forth between the pens, I know this is really difficult to see. You might have to try it out on your computer, but when I switch back and forth from the marker to the paintbrush, it remembers the colors that I picked and the thickness. So when I go back to the marker, I have the options here. So let me show you how I did that again. If you want to customize the color, go ahead and select the icon with the circle and the color, and then you have the option to change the thickness, opacity, color, and you can even create a custom color. Awesome. So again, lots of tools. The shape and line tool are very similar. So if I want to use the 2D shapes, I will select that category, and I have 3 options for me at the bottom. I have a square, a circle, and a triangle. Let's do this. I will select the triangle. That first allows me to select the object, and I can begin drawing. But let's say I want to customize this shape. I am going to go back, I'm going to select the triangle, and I'm going to click a second time. And now I can go through here, change the thickness, I can change the shape and the color. So let's keep it a triangle, but now I've changed the thickness, and now I can draw. So quick and easy way, shows you how to do it. Again, if you don't want to go through the toolbar, this is where the quick or long press is going to be a great option for you because you can have these preset already. So as you can see, there are a lot of different ways that you can customize your overall myViewBoard experience, down from changing your name in myViewBoard, adding the tabs so that you don't have to spend too much time navigating and trying to figure out how to get to the next lesson. But there's so many additional ways that we are going to dive into with this new educator community series of webinars. We're going to have lots of really good content for you coming up. And of course, if you have questions, please put them in the community. We really want to be there for you to allow you to help connect with your peers, but also connect with some people from ViewSonic who can help answer your questions. If you are interested in learning a little bit more beyond what's in the educator community, we also do have the ViewSonic Teacher Certification Program that's going to go through each one of these tools and get you to the IT certified or expert level. So it's going to make sure that you know all of the ins and outs of myViewBoard, especially for this new version, and make sure that you feel comfortable talking with your own colleagues about these changes. So with that, we are going to now kick off our check for understanding. So
Haley,
yes,
before we
Tara.
do that, we had a couple of questions come up in chat. Do you mind if we
Perfect.
address those?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Okay, so one was, has the update already happened? My view board doesn't have these updates. I'm assuming they're referring to the pin tool. I'm not quite sure the specificity of that
Yeah, so if
question.
they're talking about the myViewBoard 3.0 update, we did launch this last week at ISTE. So this is something that we've been sending communications about since the beginning of the year, and we've been working on resources. So we can definitely provide you an IT overview to see which view boards are going to receive this update. What you will see is that when you are using it on a view board, if it's one of those that is receiving the updates, there will be a pop-up that asks you if you want to update to the new version. However, if you're not ready to update, there is no pressure to do so. You can dismiss that pop-up, and you can also check a box so that it doesn't come up again. And so you can update on your own terms. For Windows, if you want to try this update, there is a separate download. Reason for this is because we know that there are a lot of users using Windows, and we didn't want to completely disrupt your workflow. So there is a separate download. We have all that information on our ViewSonic.com page. Maybe we can also put that in the chat for you with all of the list of downloads. So for iOS, Mac OS, Chrome OS, Windows, and of course, if you need an update for your Android, that should happen automatically.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Another question was in reference to Dan's webinar, the sneak peek that was done on June 25th. You can, in fact, find that recording in our educator community, which you guys all are members of by virtue of being in this session. So all you'll need to do is just toggle to the webinar recording library and scroll, and you will see Dan's sneak peek there. So you can definitely re-listen or listen for the first time by just checking it out there. Did we have another question? Let's see. Oh, and so as Haley just mentioned, it is Check for Understanding time. I am so excited. For those folks who joined us a little later, just to give you a little bit of background, we are utilizing our Class Swift software tool to administer this Check for Understanding. And basically, this is just a fun, engaging way to see what you've been able to understand from this particular session. As you know, with me being the community manager, I love to give stuff away. And so by virtue of you just scanning the QR code, which is on your screen now, utilizing your phone, that will put you into our class. This is our quick join access. And I will need you to put your first and last name as a class participant. This way, if you do win a giftogram, I will be able to match it with your webinar registration so that I can get the giftogram to you. So I encourage all to participate. And Haley, go ahead and get us started.
Awesome. So why don't I go ahead and check to see how many participants we have right now. And then that's going to help guide us to make sure that if we need a little bit more additional time to get people to join. It looks like we have a really good turnout right now. It looks like we have 29 people.
Nice. Yes.
Awesome. This is going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, I'll just give it another second. Again, if you're joining using that QR code, go ahead and press quick join and add your first and last name.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Perfect. Why don't we go ahead and start the lesson?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So the way that this is going to work is that I have a list of questions that I've put together, and I'm going to use the Class Swift tool to be able to push these messages out to each of you. So I know there was a lot of information covered, but we always like to do these check for understanding so that we're able to make sure that everyone gets the correct answers and they know some of the important updates that were provided. So let's get into it. So our very first question, I'm going to start a quiz. I'm going to do a multiple choice, and I'm going to push this out to each of you.
Did everyone see how easy that was? I just wanted to make that little note.
So yes, I'm using ClassSwift right now. I'm just using pre-existing content that I have, and I select the multiple choice, and then I'm going to start the quiz. So all of your results will come in. You should receive the prompt on your phone.
Yes.
And go ahead and answer. What do these have in common? A, B, C, or D?
Oh, I see people are answering.
Awesome. So we'll give it a little bit of time, try to get everyone to get an answer. Very cool. I see some very smart people already. Look
Absolutely.
at this. I'm going to pull it off the screen so that I can check in on some of the answers so that no one cheats real quick. Yep, this is a very smart group. Good, good. Just going to give it a little bit longer to get a few more answers in. Okay. I'm going to do a timer now. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll give you one more minute. One more minute to answer. And the next few questions will be going through a little bit quicker for the sake of time. But since this is the first one and it's probably new for most of you, I want to make sure that you all get an opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you, Haley. So again, everyone is those who are in the class, you've already got 1 point. And if you get the first answer correct, we'll see how your points calculate from there.
All right, few more seconds. The timer tool that I am using is directly for ClassSwift. So if you wanted to see how I did that, I just went down to the tool icon here and then selected timer. Okay, we're almost ready.
Okay, everyone submit if you've got an
Time's
answer.
up.
Oh, time's up.
Okay, I'm going to end the quiz. So from here, I can see about 29 people answered. And the correct answer, of course, is B. So I'm going to disclose that to your devices. You should see that pop up. Awesome. And if you got it correct, let's see. Awesome.
Yay.
Perfect. So let's go ahead and close this out. And let's go on to the next question.
Question number 2.
This one's also going to be multiple choice. I'm just going to take a screenshot of this. And I want it in letter format. Perfect. And I'm going to start the quiz now.
Here we go.
Okay. Why would a teacher set up a custom sign out timer? Is it A, to block student access to cloud tools, B, to minimize setup time between classes, C, to enhance sound settings, or D, to disable touch input? Okay, I see some answers coming through.
Here we go. Okay, I do see a couple
of some answers. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Perfect. So this one, I'm going to end the quiz now. And for this one, the correct answer is A. Now, this one was tricky because we talked about the tabs. The tabs allow you to set up time, to minimize the setup time between classes, and the sign out timer would prevent someone from accessing your cloud tools. Awesome. So it looks like we got a mixed group here. The competition's getting tighter. So let's go ahead. And it's just, so this is the results from this one. If you got it incorrect, no worries. This one was a little bit tricky.
Hopefully we've clarified that. That's been clarified, so that's good.
Next one. So this is going to be a true or false question. I'm going to send this to your devices as well. So true or false, you are not required to upgrade to myViewBoard 3.0. So as you can see, as we get some results brought in, perfect.
Okay, and I'm just checking the chat. Peter, I hope you see the your question addressed regarding Class Swift. Thank you, Heather. And if you have additional questions regarding Class Swift, please don't hesitate to drop those into the Q&A as well.
Okay. Looks like we got some answers, a few more trickling in. All right. We'll do another quick timer. This time, 10 seconds.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, let's end the quiz. The correct answer for this one is true. You do not need to upgrade if you are not ready. So I'm going to disclose those answers. Awesome.
Yay. Okay. Look at that. Results are looking good.
Looks good. And if you got those correct, you got one additional point. Okay, let's move on. This leads us into this next question. So for this one, we want to do a poll. Okay, I'm going to go here and I'm going to delete these two options and I'm going to start the quiz. So I'm just going to give you two options, A or B. So go ahead, Tara.
I was just going to say, if you are interested in getting more information, please feel free to scan that QR code that Haley has so kindly put on the actual question page there. So it's on your screen now. If you are interested, it does just take you to a real quick form. That way we can ensure that we get you linked up with the right Class Swift person to address any additional questions you might have. And you might have already figured out this is a freebie. So that's another point, regardless of how you respond.
Try to make it fair. Give some that are a little more difficult, some that are a little bit free.
Yes.
Awesome. I think almost everyone has responded at this point. I think there's a few more, but this was a really great session. I was so glad that so many of you were able to participate with us today. And hopefully, if you got some of these answers wrong, hopefully it helped clarify it and now you feel a little bit better about this new version. We do have a lot of resources, like I mentioned. I highly recommend that you go to our myviewboard.com page and go to that knowledge base for all of the different articles about the new version. We have our downloads directly there. And we also have an entire YouTube channel. So maybe one of my team members can link our YouTube channel, the ViewSonic Education North America page, directly there for you. We have over 50 plus videos directly on this new version to learn more about that. And if you do want to learn more information about ClassSwift, there's also videos about ClassSwift there. But of course, we have your information from the form, so we will also get you connected. As always, we do have more exciting webinars coming up, which I believe Tara is going to speak to now.
Yes, again, thank you so much, Haley. I appreciate just the level of detail you provided us in this first session. First and foremost, painting a perfect overview of what we can expect in this series, but then also getting into the details around personalization and really making this refresh work for you, and being able to utilize the customization tools embedded to make it perform optimally when school gets back in. So as Haley mentioned, we do have another session coming up on July 24th. July 24th is our next Pro Tips Series session. And I'm excited because we're going to bring in one of our influencers, Crystal, who is a teacher in Hawaii, who utilizes our software and hardware extensively. So she's going to bring us some tools around collaboration, and I love how it's entitled Collaborate to Calculate. So we're going to deep dive into math and seeing how some of the tools that Haley already alluded to really come to life in this refresh. So I hope you can join us on July 24th for that. And you can go to the community where you're going to be able to find this recording, as well as information on how to register for our next session. You'll also find it on our socials. So now I've got my homework cut out for me. I am going to be taking all of your scores, and those of you who receive 3 points or higher, as long as you did what I needed you to do and put your first and last name in there for me, I will be reaching out to you via email to ensure that you get your giftogram. Okay, so thank you again, Haley, and thank you all for your participation and your questions. I want to make sure there aren't any outstanding questions in the chat. No? I think we're good. Okay, I'm assuming we are good. You can always reach out. We're here for you guys. Haley has said several times you've got a community of support surrounding you. So thank you again, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.